We thought we'd do something unusual. We always talk about the stars and the wow players, and we thought we'd look at 5 unsung players, unsung heroes of the IPL. Not unknown heroes, but 5 unsung heroes of the IPL. Largely because they weren't expected to create this kind of impact. So let's look at this rather more tender collection. I'm going to start with Rashid Khan, and you're going to say, how come Rashid Khan, unsung, unknown? No, Rashid Khan came in as a player from Afghanistan. No one knows what Afghanistan players are going to do. Very young player, widely recognized outside. But to the IPL, did you genuinely expect Rashid Khan to create the kind of impact he did? And I think while judging people, you must go back to the start of the IPL and put yourself there and say, did I imagine this would happen? The answer was no. And so Rashid Khan comes into that list. Magnificent numbers, and just when the Sunrisers wanted a replacement for Mustafizur, who really didn't have a great season, they went to Rashid Khan. Then I'm going Manoj Tiwari. Now, some of you who watched our Facebook Live when we were at the auction would have realized we expressed some surprise that Manoj Tiwari had not been picked initially, even though he had a really good domestic season. And then his name came back, and I don't know what round he got picked in eventually. But as the tournament went along, as Dhoni tended to struggle to get the ball off the square most times in the early part of the innings, they went to Manoj Tiwari, and Manoj Tiwari did everything that was asked of them. And that is why Manoj Tiwari features in this list for me. My third player is Basil Thampi. We had Mohammad Siraj, we had T. Natarajan, we had Basil Thampi on that Facebook Live. K. Gautam for Mumbai Indians is one of the players to watch out for. And then Thampi came in. His numbers aren't wow, awesome. But just look at where he bowled. That wicket of Chris Gale that made you look up. The fact that very soon he was the death overs bowler for the Gujarat Lions. And I really think Basil Thampi is one to look out for. And I urge all people in Kerala, stop calling him as chief guest for functions. The other reason I like Basil Thampi is a story I read about him. Back in 2012, was part of the catering staff for the first-class matches that Kerala played, simply because he wanted to be around. And a lot of those players who were catered to by Basil Thampi will now want photographs with him, which is what I find beautiful. These are the stories I love in sport. So Basil Thampi is in that list for me. Purely because he possesses that kind of story, Rahul Tripathi is in there as well. He was called for the trials in the first year, was told, tighten up your game and come back some other time. Then Rahul Tripathi comes back and they said, okay, we've got 350 people in the auction. Let's just put in a request, make it 351. Let's take a look. Very late call in, Rahul Tripathi enters the auction. And on the recommendation of a journalist friend of mine, Surandan Lele, they look at him and they say, okay, let's put him in. He's told to share a net with MS Dhoni, and he just looks and says, wow, he doesn't know what to do for the next 4 or 5 balls. Then tells the story of how as a young kid, his mother is from Ranchi, would stand outside Dhoni's house and gape. And then he bats alongside Dhoni. And what an impact Rahul Tripathi has had for rising Pune super giant. His is one of the most beautiful stories of this year's IPL. So he's in that list as well. And to top it off, as I said in no particular order, is someone who's 17 years old. What did you do when you were 17? He's an opening batsman who bowls a little bit. And Steve Smith says, will you take the new ball, young man? You don't say no, do you? At 17, you're not allowed to say no to anything. He takes the new ball, he gives you quiet overs. He comes back in a crunch game, he gives you 3 wickets on a slowish track. Washington Sundar's story is the importance of having a second language, as we were all taught in school. Being just one skilled player is not enough. You never know where your second skill helps you. And Washington Sundar makes that list. And I must confess, I've enjoyed putting this list together because these are the stories that make our sport.